Hi, everyone. I'm Dr. Nancia Leath, and I'm so excited about this raw story. This raw story, I have a beautiful family. First of all, the mom, Carmen, and then her eldest daughter, Ariel, and then beautiful Neenah. I'm excited about them coming to you to tell you about their story. First, before I even talk about their story, I want to give you a description of Carmen. Carmen is a woman of faith. And I think about, if you've never heard of the story about the seed of a mustard seed or this, having faith of the size of a mustard seed, and I have like a little seed inside of this necklace. Carmen reminds me of a person that has not faith of the size of a mustard seed. Her faith is like big. And you're going to see it when you get to talk to her on today. This woman, when I tell you God is with her and the stories that you hear from her, you're going to see the Most High is with her and how she honestly depends on God to guide her. But let me tell you her story. Let me let her tell you her story. Come on, Carmen, how are you?
Hi.
I am so happy you are here all the way from Spain. How you doing,
girl? I am doing great. Is a pleasure and an honor to be invited to come and speak to everyone about our experiences living in Spain. So
Yeah. So before you
really
tell
good.
us about living in Spain, tell them a little about yourself. Who is Carmen?
Who's Carmen? Carmen is a mother of two, a recent, I can still consider recent widow. Um, my heart's desire is just to fulfill purpose and what I believe God has led my family to do. And Carmen. I guess I'm speaking in the second person or whatever. But very creative, very innovative, but very moved to make sure I follow what I believe is the right thing to do for the right season of my life and now my family's life. And so just executing, what I believe God's plan is for us as a family and recognizing that it's important that, you know, I as an individual or people in general to fulfill their purpose or their desire in terms of what their ambitions are in life.
Okay. And with that in mind, you used to live in America or USA. And what state did you live in?
I lived in Atlanta, Georgia.
Atlanta, Georgia. And how long
Yeah.
did you stay in Georgia?
Ooh, that was a long time. It was 17 years, I believe. In
17 years.
about 17 years.
And you stayed in the US all your life. Is that correct?
Oh, yes. Yes. Born and bred,
Wow. So
in the
what
U.S.
motivated you to move to Spain? What was the drive? What took place?
My husband and I at the time, we were looking at our future, but mainly our future of our children and what we felt was purpose driven, like what we felt God was saying to us.
Mhm.
Spiritually, biblically, physically, just what did that look like? And we thought that we need to start to look outside of the U.S. to see about our children experiencing out, the world beyond the U.S. and
Okay.
not just be in a box, you know,
Wow.
and stigmas and be limited based on what, the norms were, but what God says was best for us.
Wow. And so why Spain compared to Paris or Dubai?
Yes.
Why did you
Uh,
select Spain?
I select Spain because we first wrote down what was important to us.
Okay.
And and we bathe everything in prayer. So I'm very more than humble to say that all of our success, all of our accomplishments is through God being put first. And He said, acknowledge Him in all your ways, He will direct your path. And so
Right.
I began to research, what place outside the U.S. match our lifestyles. And so certain things
Okay.
were important to us.
Mhm.
safety,
Mhm.
food,
Mhm.
the quality of life, peace, that those kind of things. And in doing so, I said, well, what group of people, thrive like that? Our
Mm.
elderly. I said, well, let's see where they retiring. I'm going to take the top 10 places where the elderly wants to retire. They want it affordable. They want it safe. They want it quality. They want, all that. And in
Mhm.
doing so, that's how we landed with Spain.
Spain.
We landed. We kind of narrowed down to the top three, look further into it in terms of education and some finer details that really, was very important to us. And Spain seemed to be a perfect match, especially when I present things in prayer and have a conversation like I'm having with you. That's how I have to relate to God. I can't be whimsical. I just talk,
Yes.
and I felt at peace about that. Dexter
Okay.
and I at the time.
Wow. And so when you went to Spain, I like how you said Dexter, now your husband, this is her when she say Dexter, that's her belated husband. When
Yes.
you all decided to go to Spain, um, your husband wasn't there.
No.
So you had to make that decision because your husband went on the other side.
Yes, he
Um,
did.
yes, and you had to make that decision you still had to move forward with your two daughters.
Mhm.
Please tell us about that experience.
Well, it was right. Actually, I kept it real simple. I said,
Okay.
now, never thought that him being moved on was a part of the plan.
Right.
And so I said, well, God, so what does this mean? Is this still on or what? And the answer I clearly got was, it never was about just you and him. It was about what I have for your family, about you guys. And so I haven't changed my mind. I said, well, if you haven't changed your mind, apparently you're going to work this out. And so I did. I left.
Wow. So you went to a place not knowing the language. I believe your belated husband knew a little of the language. He
Yes,
knew a little
he
of
did.
Spanish, but
Yes,
you and your daughters, y'all, none of the, you
zero.
didn't. So
Zero.
you went to a place. Okay, you went to a place.
Mm-hmm.
Did not know the language. Did not
Nope.
know the city.
Nope.
Now tell us your first day when you first moved there with your babies. Tell us, give, tell
Okay,
us.
well, be, before that took place, I did my research. So for 2 years,
Okay,
I had two books of research in terms of areas, location. We got in contact with a real estate agent in which Dexter dealt with that evolved into 2 years. And when he passed, one of my friends picked it up. And so we went, quote unquote, I said, well, to seal the deal for me, we're going to visit because I need to land there, touch it, feel it, see it. And so everything that I had in my books in terms of where I would stay when I visit, where the schools were, the neighborhoods and everything, we actually went down and visit. And
okay,
in doing so, we stayed for like almost a week and a half. And
okay.
then I saw how well the girls adapted. That was my, check, okay. And we came back, packed up, and then we left. And so my girls, when they realized, mom was serious, we're leaving because they were in school, they pretty much was like, oh, okay, we're going to do this. And I said, yeah, we're going to do this. And we did. We left. And so when we landed, there's so many amazing stories but we lived in a well, I didn't even know, but at the God actually orchestrated a scenario in which the house I picked, I end up with another one,
Mhm.
and which was even better. And we end up living in a nice neighborhood. The school, literally, you could walk to it. They did, and I mean, I couldn't have painted a better scenario. I really couldn't. And truly, it was by faith, and it was an excellent experience because we were well embraced by the people.
That is amazing. That's good. I'm glad because that was my next question. Because we all see Carmen as black. We all see she's a
Yeah,
black female. Okay. And
black.
And so, were you all the only black family there? Did you have someone to hang with? Talk to us.
Well, I I'm very grateful that for us it wasn't about you know the color or anything like that, because I knew that I was entering into another country that you know these people were just wonderful people. I didn't even for outside of the language, there was just people like anywhere else you would meet,
Right.
and they were just so nice and so embracing. And yes, I didn't know, but at the time we became popular very quick because they could not believe there was a Black American family living in Spain. That's unheard of. And they said they would visit, they might be interracial, but a whole unit. And so one of
A
the
whole unit. A
a
whole.
whole unit, and
Yeah.
it was like very American, very black, and come to find out, we were highly favored because what people don't know is Spaniards, really do like Black Americans, and it is one of the trends that is there. I mean, they're in their advertisements and everything, and so, but they're just not visually. You see them popular. You see a few Africans, but Black Americans, no. And
Got it.
so,
So you like
yeah,
in a small city, correct? I believe you all.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
It's just like when you say in Georgia, you
Mhm.
have Atlanta, and then you have the surrounding counties. Well, it's
Mhm.
just like that. Of course, is the different small towns, and the architecture is what the architecture of the buildings and stuff is what you see when you look up Spain.
Okay. Wow. Were there any situations? Because I know what I love about Carmen, I always admire and implore her is that she does well with tact. And she's the type of person that know how to use honey to calm things down. I mean, she lived that scripture out to the max. I tried to even give me some training, but I still need some work. But anyway, with that, Carmen, were there situations where you had to use honey or use your attack in order to change the situation to making sure it didn't go, in the wrong direction? Do you have any stories?
Um, in that respect, I was very fortunate. Mainly, a lot of what I did that they like and found unusual was I smiled a lot.
Got
And
it.
so, me smiling and being pleasant and being very relatable and animated, didn't mind doing Pictionary to, find out what I needed, making animal sounds, imitating certain livestock, like moo, they absolutely loved it. So for the most part, they saw someone who, though was not native, but was very willing to be sociable and pleasant, because you got to remember, and that's part of the mindset. People's mindset need to understand you are in someone else's country.
Come
You're
on.
the guest. And
Mhm.
so you don't come in with an entitlement attitude. I don't care what the reputation of your country is, be it great or not. You need to come in humble, and so I did learn three words that was, my friend, even though I would take those three words and create a conversation that made no sense. But
And what's your 3 words? Tell us your 3 words.
I said hola, which means
Hello.
hello. Lo siento means I'm sorry. And I said, Lo siento, hello. And C means yes.
Mhm.
Those carried me for so much. And they were so sweet because I go, Lo siento. And I go, hola. And so, see, and don't know what they talking about. So,
Mhm.
but their body language, and I think uh, being creative really helped me understand, because the body language is 98% of communication anyway.
That's true.
And,
That's so
and so
true.
and
Mhm.
so that carried me a lot. So when I tell them I didn't want like pork is very popular, is one of the main commodities. And so when I want beef and I didn't want pork, I just say, moo, 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 moo. And the oink, oink, no, 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 oink, no, oink, 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 no. Moo, moo. And they, and they were so tickled. They go, oh, oh, see. And then they would give me and of course, my vocabulary has went from 3 to now maybe 20 words,
Okay. Because you've
I
been there
can,
now about 4 years, correct?
right. And so I
Right.
can read it, I can read a lot of words. I do understand. And then there's so many people. I mean, if anybody's seen the movie Killer Bee, in the neighborhood was teaching her the words. Well,
Mhm.
that's how the community rallied around us and did the same.
Wow. So basically, the community helped you adapt.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
love it.
absolutely,
Wow.
absolutely,
Wow.
absolutely. And that's where you see God's hand. That's the kind of favor that counts.
I love it. Yes. Wow. So, well, Carmen, what I'm going to do now is switch over to Ariel because we want
Sure,
to what it's like to be a teen. Because I think she came when she was 16, and then we're going to come back because I want us all to come together and talk. Okay.
absolutely.
Thank you so much. All right, let's bring in Ariel. How are you, Ariel?
Hi, I'm good.
So tell us a little about yourself. Who is Ariel?
Ariel is kind, sweet, athletic, very um, kind of. I not. I'm very intuitive. I kind of watch my surroundings, but I know how to adapt to them. Loyal, great friend. Yeah, that's kind of puts me in a ball. Yeah, that's me. That's me.
You are. That's I see Ariel. Amazing, amazing, sweetheart. Ariel, love her. Okay, Ariel, you come in there at the age of 16, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. How was it for you being a black female?
So it was very different. So being that I was a teenager, I was 16, I ended up going to school here. And so I went to high school here. And so when I went in the 10th grade. And
Mm,
I had my very first blatant racist experience at
mm,
school. And
mm,
so I think a group of us wanted to go to, I think, the movies or something Saturday night to go see a new movie that had come out. And a classmate of mine was in the group, and she had text in the group chat, "I don't want to hang out with her because she's black." And I didn't know how to take it.
mm,
I was very shocked by it.
mm,
To admit, I, I had no words because I she didn't know me and I didn't know her, and all she judged me by was my skin color.
mm,
And the guy who came to me with this, he was another person of color in my class, and the way he came with it to me, he was very kind about it. He was like, just letting you know this happened. But the person who did it, um, she wasn't of Spaniard.
mm,
So, but he told me that in this group chat, I was then defended by the internationals and other Spaniards. And they were like, how can you do that? You don't know her. And she was like, just because she was black. And that's why. And that was her period. And so from this experience, I learned that even though they said culturally Spain was racist or this is not a good country for blacks to go to, it it was a generalization. And what I
mm.
learned from this is that it will then become individual because not everyone is racist. So you can't take a whole culture and generalize everybody. So what
Mhm.
I learned from this is that she individually had an issue with me because
Wow.
I was black, not because of
Mm,
who I was, not because of whatever, but because of my skin color, she individually had the problem. So I took it as, okay, that's cool. And because we go to school together, because we're in class together, we need to be able to be cordial with each other. And I did it. We succeeded. We were fine. She and we went to school together. We were cordial. We had classes together, and no problem, because I knew where she was, and then I knew
Mhm.
where I was. And I knew
Mm.
for us to be in class together, for us to work together, for us to do things together, we need to be able to coexist and be able to
Mm.
think differently. You cannot
Girl.
like me because of the color of my skin, and I cannot like you because of how you think about me, but we can't let that go anywhere else. It needs to stop there, and that's it. That's what I kind
Wow, that is awesome. He's so mature at that age, especially at 16, and you knew to move forward. And
of,
even though the idea that the community also defended you, I
yeah,
think that also helped.
it did.
Um, and even as being an African American, going to a different school, different language, what was it like even going in this city?
So my very first city experience was when we first came down to visit.
Okay. Oh,
And during this time, I was nervous. I was skeptical. You know, all those feelings that you feel
right.
when you're going somewhere new, especially when you
Right.
don't speak the language and all of the other things. So
Right.
I was nervous about public transport for whatever
Hmm.
reason. I was
Hmm.
petrified. And the person who had come with us, she was like, nah, you need to know how to get on it. And so I did. And my mom, she said, look, old folks, you see the old folks? They going on the train. You see if the old folks going on the train, it's safe. So you can go on the train. And so I got on the train. And that's actually now one of my favorite ways to get around the city is by train. And so we used the train and we got down in the city. And when I got down there,
Hmm.
it shocked me because lots of people were down there. It was just a whole lot of people. But
Hmm.
they were all, when you went into a store, I'm going to use a specific store. We went to the store, and I think
Hmm.
I ended up getting a shirt from the store or something. But we went in there, and the guy, he whispered to me, don't ask me why. He whispered to me, I love Black Americans. And I was like, well, I love you too. Now, we could have said this out loud, but I love you too. And
Hmm.
that was like one of my first experiences. It kind of helped me kind of like relax a little bit. Like
Okay.
coming here, me just coming from America and being Black, they love me just for that reason. They don't even have to know me yet, and they like me for that reason. So I kind of chilled out, and being in the city, it was a fun experience for me because going into restaurants, going into stores, the people were so nice and so sociable. And because we didn't know the language, it was very interesting. Very interesting to say the least. I knew some words and phrases because of my dad. He knew Spanish, and also I was learning Spanish in my
Okay.
old schools for 5 years.
Okay. Okay.
But I use it to talk to other people. Um, so it kind of went back here and then stayed. Um, so as living here, it's kind of like resurfacing itself.
Okay.
But
Okay.
like my mom was talking about being animated and stuff like that, we were doing a lot of that and trying to like talk to people.
Communicate. Right.
And
Mm.
because we're jokesters in our family, we got
Okay.
everybody else to laugh and have fun and stuff like that.
Mm.
So being a teenager and moving here, I was nervous at first, but once I got here, I kind of relaxed. And as my mom
Mhm.
was saying how we had God favor and stuff like that, he was kind of like, Ariel, I got you. I know what I knew how you would feel before
Mhm.
you got here. And
Right.
so once I got here, I was like, this place for me is kind of like Atlanta. The only
Mhm.
thing missing are my friends and family, when
Mhm.
I get to talk to on FaceTime and stuff like that. But like and then language, obviously. But other than that, it was good. And for me, it kind of relaxed me.
Okay.
To like be honest, because I was petrified at first, but then after being here for the first week for visiting, I told my mom, I love it here, and then we moved, and then we've been here for 4 years, almost.
Oh my goodness. So will you like to live there long, for your future? Or will you like to come back to the US?
Um, being that my career of choice is culinary,
Right.
and I want to be a chef. For those who know me, and
Yes, she
that's
can
one of
cook.
my passions.
Oh, Lord, she can cook, but go.
Um, yes, I would like to stay in Europe and study um,
Mhm.
culinary, and also I want to open restaurants. So once I get to like my phase of like the restaurant opening, I want to like uh, I want to open one back in my hometown in Georgia, and then I also want to open more. But like here, I do want to stay in Europe and kind of learn new techniques and other things to better my culinary experience. And yeah, I'm very excited for that. Corona put some halt on it, but um, uh, when Corona lets everyone free, I can't wait to get to culinary school and sharpen them skills and better myself in that. And I can't wait to see what the future holds for me. So.
Wow. And one more question for you. If you compare your experience from US experience
Yeah.
compared to Spain experience by being an African American,
Yes.
what are the difference?
Um, Here they don't really care about color
God.
as much as they do in the U.S. I noticed that here I am an American. I'm not the Black American girl.
Wow.
Um, in America, I'd be referred to as black or colored or whatever term you want to use. But here, I'm just American, and I'm just Ariel, and I like that, and that's kind of what helped me open. You do have those few that's just kind of local up there, but that's just them. Like I said earlier, that's just individually. But being here, when I said I opened more, um, another one of my passions, I could say, is volleyball. And in my school, I helped start a volleyball program. But
Wow.
I I could tell you like right now, if Ariel back in the US was if I still was back in the US, I would never have the courage to start a volleyball program. And so I ended up getting courage from peers because I just kind of walked around school and I was like, how do you feel about volleyball, blah, blah, blah? And they're like, we just have a volleyball program, blah, blah, blah. Then I went to um, my gym teacher, who was also my basketball coach at the time, and I said, I want to start a volleyball program. And he said, know what? We're going to look into it. And we ended up looking into it, and the volleyball program is still instated. And the program was an outlet for others. We ended up creating something called the Iberian League, but the program wasn't for like those who we just go out and win things. It was another form of us coming together, and for others to have another outlet. And it was amazing. And also living in Spain, because like in states, we have state to state or city to city. They don't have that out here, so you have province to province. And
Okay.
being that I had the courage to start this volleyball program also gave me the ability to travel to other places and meet other people who I am still friends with. I have friends in Switzerland and Italy and all the other places. But because I had the courage to follow something that told me, do this, I did it. There's a program still instated. And with this, I got to be able to travel and get to see different places and do different things and try new foods and see outside of this. I i was proud of myself for listening to God, who, because it it didn't really occur to me because I was new. This was my first year. I was like, I'm not
Right.
gonna do anything. I'm gonna be the new kid who is quiet, who sits in the corner, who follow everything. And something was like, I want you to start a volleyball program. And then I just randomly just started asking about volleyball. And I was like, do you have volleyball here? That was my first question when I interviewed the school. I said, do you have volleyball here? And they were like, no, we used to, but we don't anymore. And then I kind of got my shoe in. And that
Wow.
is kind of the difference from old Ariel to new Ariel.
I like this new Ariel. Ariel, courageous. Oh my goodness. And that's what a lot of people are saying. They can see. So basically, when you move to Spain, you feel like you have more of a voice.
Yes, I used to be, for all friends, family who knew me, I was quiet and
Mm,
introverted and
mhm,
to myself.
mm,
Like, to get me to open, you really actually did need to know me. And to get me to talk to new people was like getting a cat to take a bath in water. Like, it was impossible.
mm,
And so moving here, that Ariel, I don't know if she left. I think she stayed seated on the plane and flew back to America. I don't know what happened, but this new Ariel is
mm,
more extroverted, more outgoing. She has a voice.
mm.
Sometimes she may use her voice wrongly, but she has a voice,
Yeah, she has a
and
voice. That's
and
good. Yes.
she knows how to use her voice to help others. And I use my voice to, in school, I ended up becoming an ambassador my
Wow.
first year,
Mm,
and I held that ambassador position for 2 years. And me
mm,
and my sister were ambassadors together. And being an ambassador for the school and then also being recognized for being an ambassador for the school was very proud for me. And because old Ariel, to be an ambassador of anything, I would have been like, no, you can do that, but I won't. And also new Ariel, because I had ended up leaving the school, and my sister stayed, and she was in the volleyball program, and we had gone to her sports, and they, in other countries in the volleyball arena, they know us as the loud cheering family. We don't care what side of the team you are on. If you are playing on the court, we are cheering for you. And our team
mm,
always got the sportsmanship award
mm.
because they had never had family come to games. For my
Really?
mom to show up to a game to
Wow.
cheer on her children was unheard of. For a
Mm.
parent to cheer for a child at a game was
Wow.
unheard of. And so our mom ended up traveling with us, and people thought that was weird. I was like, that ain't weird. She
That's right.
learned
That's
us,
right.
and if my dad was here, you think Carmen Vaughn is loud? Listen to Dexter Vaughn. If Dexter Marvis Vaughn Jr. was here,
Yeah.
oh, you would hear him in China if you are in
Yeah.
Italy. Like, he would have made it known. Those are my girls on the court, and
Yeah.
they are crushing it. So, and when my sister, when she was then at the school and she was on the team, we we would cheer for her, and then teams would actually ask us to go to their game and cheer for them.
Wow.
And um, all this is like new Ariel, because I promise you, old Ariel would have not done any of this. And to be recognized at my sister's graduation as Neenah and her family changed how sportsmanship looked like at games was, I was shocked, and I was like, that's like how they feel about it, because to show sportsmanship and kindness
Mm.
can change someone's day. To
Yeah.
smile at someone
Mm.
can change their day.
Right.
And these children, yes, I'll just deal with my own team. You could
Right.
see them looking at my mom cheering us on just at practice alone. You saw the look of, I want my parents there.
Oh
No joke. Parents started showing up at practices
wow. Oh
because
wow.
their child was like, Ariel and Nina's mom comes and cheers them on at practice, and
Mm-hmm.
I want you to do that too.
Mm.
Practice was like a scrimmage game because parents started coming and cheering on their children. And
Wow.
we began to help make differences and changes at the
Mhm.
school. And even in myself, I made changes. And I moving here, I was very concerned and ambivalent, but I'm so glad I did because the Ariel I am today is probably not the Ariel I would be if I stayed in America. I promise you. And Ariel now has this
Mm.
confidence about her, this glow about her, this
Yeah.
this
Mhm.
this new look on her
Mhm.
that is cut not stress free, but like she's free in herself to be herself. Um,
Mm.
and I
Mm.
like this Ariel. This Ariel created a volleyball program. This Ariel helped change uh, the look of clo- clothing here.
Right. Mm.
The girls at my school wore things that I didn't think you could wear to school. Um,
Right.
I thought you would wear that outside of school, not walk into school and look like that. And my sister and I, we used, for me personally, I'm just talking about me, being plus size, my
Mhm.
mom, who was also plus size, helped me understand clothes.
Got it.
And going to school looking nice and showing that you can look nice and not
Mhm.
show skin was
Mhm.
amazing for me. And teachers would come up to my sister and I and be like, "We changed our clothes because of you and you and your sister." My biology teacher changed her whole wardrobe because of my sister and I. This
Mm.
Ariel helped make differences. This
Mhm.
Ariel helped others look at themselves and be like, "Ooh, I need to change because this about me is not right." This
Mm.
Ariel helped others smile and feel free in themselves. Um,
Mm.
I may have had my shortcomings when it came down to some things, but everyone has their struggles.
That's right.
Um,
Mhm.
and being
Mhm.
in another country and dealing with like classmates and stuff like that, you do have your struggles. But this Ariel, she looked at those struggles, looked at how she handled the struggles, like, yo, I was wrong when I did that. But like now I have grown and
Mhm.
I am proud of this Ariel, and I would like to show this Ariel to others because
Mm.
this Ariel
Wow.
cannot be hidden. This Ariel cannot be introverted. This Ariel has what my mom talks about a lot, the favor of God behind her and her family. This
Mhm.
this Ariel, because I was nervous about the race problem
Mhm.
that they
Mhm.
did say they had in Spain. Because when we were moving to Spain, at first me and my sister like we want to go to Barcelona, and they said why? We said because of Cheetah Girl, and they said is that your only reason? We said yes.
You're the cheetah girl.
And then um, uh, I went and did some research on my own, and I found some of those things, and I was like, "Are you sure we should move here?" And she was like, "Yeah." And we ended up moving here. It was probably the best decision we could have ever made.
Wow. Well, thank you so much, Ariel. Thank you. I am excited. I'm over here just beaming. I'm trying to not even let the tears come out because I can see it. And the idea that, and I love what your mom said earlier, how she had to follow the ways of the Lord in order for her family, and how we
Yes,
can see how God has blessed, as well as even you as an individual. Because in America, like you said, you're more of an introvert. How now you're more free to be yourself. So that's just a gift in itself. Wow.
yes.
So now I'm going to bring your sister Neenah in. Oh my goodness. And I'm going to bring you back later on. So give me a few with you. Okay. So go backstage for me. All righty. Hello, 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 Neenah.
Hi.
Congratulations. Oh,
Thank
she
you.
graduated, right? This is our graduate right here, 2020 in the house. So tell us a little about yourself, sweetheart.
Yes. So Neenah is someone that is quite creative. I would like to say I'm outgoing. That definitely came. I did what part of what Ariel said from being in Spain and finding more of who I am as a person. getting more outgoing and more outspoken, and definitely confident, and definitely still growing. Someone that's still growing and developing in who they are. So, yeah, that's me.
Wow. That is awesome. Neenah, I'm going to go straight on in, okay, with you, if that's okay. Because right now we know a little bit about Spain, how you all got there. But I want you to tell me an experience that you had to, that may have been difficult when you had to see the light on the end of the tunnel. Tell us a story.
Yes. So I wouldn't say this was necessarily a difficult situation. Most of the situations I had at school, I'm really thankful and blessed to say that they weren't necessarily difficult. But I will say that I was really thankful that when I did come to the school, I was very proud to be Black American because I was able to show them a different perspective of probably the stereotypes that they probably already had and the preconceived notions that they had. So
Mhm.
coming to the school, there was a lot of questions that were asked to me that I've never been asked before, like,
And can you give us an example of the questions?
are you from the ghetto? Do you smoke weed and stuff like that? And I was like, no, actually, that's not the case. And I didn't necessarily take offense to it. I was able to see, like, of course, their ignorance or, just the curiosity level. And I took that as almost like a badge of honor to, show them a different perspective that all Black people don't fit a certain stereotype that you might see. So it was definitely a great experience to show them a different side of Black Americans that they probably didn't know. And I
Mhm.
actually had a great time doing it because I enjoyed being it might sound weird, like I didn't mind being the only Black kid. We weren't the only ones, but the quite small minority of Black kids in the school. Because I took it as a badge of honor to show them, Black Americans doesn't always fit a certain mold, that we are very diverse in culture. Yeah.
Mhm. Wow, I love that. And I believe you also you dance too. So how were you able to use that gift in order to help others?
Yes. So that was definitely a new experience for me. Being in the States, I would say I was quite outgoing, but when it came to dance, I was very reserved when it came to that.
Okay.
I was very frightened to show anyone that I could dance because I hadn't done it in front of people. I was just extremely shy when it came to dance.
Hmm.
And when I came to Spain, my mom told me, she said, Neenah, no one knows you. And this is a chance for you to actually show who you really are without any expectations or any, more or less. And so when I came, they so happened to have a performance at the school and they were looking for dancers. I said, "Hey, why not? Let's go for it." And it was such a liberating experience. It was nothing like I experienced like in my head. Like I already had like what people would say. They would nitpick at what I was doing wrong or what they didn't like. I was always thinking about what they wouldn't like about the dancing. And I remember when I did my second performance or third, and I asked Kiana Crute to help me choreograph it.
Hmm.
And because she had messaged me prior for a previous performance I did, and more or less it struck a chord with me because more or less what she said, that continue to honor and glorify God in all you do, or more or
Hmm.
less. And it really hit me because I realized that I wasn't doing that. I was
Right.
really dancing for the attention. Like I actually liked the response I was getting because it wasn't like I had expected. And so I asked her to help me choreograph that a dance piece, and it completely changed my perspective on why I actually dance at this school. And
Hmm.
so my dancing ended up being for an intention and a purpose, and that purpose was to share my faith with my class. And I remember she helped me out, and I immediately got really nervous because the song was very clear and very specific about who I serve. I was like, oh, what are they going to think? And immediately it was like, what are they going to think? They're going to think about who you serve. And so it completely changed my perspective. And I ended up finding a lot of joy in trying to find a song that had a good message and showing the amazingness of serving the Most High and whatnot, and being a Black American doing it too. And so that I found that very awesome. And then through that experience, I was also able to step out of my comfort zone and speak with different teachers at the school and students to see if they would like to participate in dance. And there was an event called Language Day, and Language Day was about representing different cultures and nationalities and showing that diversity in the school. And so I contacted a lot of the teachers that dance Scottish and dance. I talked to students that dance salsa and talked to students that dance ballet, and it was so fantastic, and it turned out a lot better than I expected. There was Scottish, there was ballet, there was salsa, and at the end, I got one of our PE teachers dance hip hop, and everyone went crazy. And I really enjoyed that experience of being able to show that diversity and being a part of showing the beauty in cultures and uniting them together through that common language of dance. So yeah, dance
Wow.
was definitely a big growth aspect for me and something that helped me step out of my comfort zone.
Wow. And since the time you've been there for 4 years, what incident stood out to you the most or gave you more growth, a situation that may occur?
Um, I think it was definitely I guess dance or just in general, if I saw different things that I didn't necessarily agree with. This was
Okay.
the first school that we had been to that wasn't a Christian school. So
Okay.
there was a lot more worldly perspectives
Mhm.
and a different culture on top of that. So
Mhm.
it let me see a better glimpse of, the world and teenagers and maturity and just that whole dynamic and learning how to deal with that. So being able to speak up for things I didn't agree with and um, learning to, join different things or create different projects, stepping out of my comfort zone. Since being in Spain has definitely been a new element and learning new cultures and stuff. And that I felt that was something that was really cool. Learning about the Spanish culture and the different nationalities as well has been quite fun. That stepped me out of my comfort zone to learn more about them, I would say.
Wow. And so, what situation or something that you did not agree with that you had to speak out, or you felt the
Um,
need to speak out?
I won't necessarily say that story in particular because that might, give certain people away, but more or less, I would say just dealing with the immature nature of some students, stuff that cross barriers of whether it be inappropriate or in that arena, and just making sure I made my voice know about what the problems were. I can speak on this. This one's more innocent.
You'll be a
Um,
great lawyer because you're trying to say without saying it. But go ahead, I'm listening.
my my apologies. My sister and I. This is a good story. My
Okay.
sister and I were walking to school, and this was the
Mhm.
great experience for us because we always wanted to do that. And this
Mhm.
this child kept shouting out a word,
Okay.
and he kept saying "fact," but in Spanish.
Okay.
And Ariel couldn't hear it, but I could.
Mm.
And he kept doing it each day. And so I went to his teacher, and spoke to her about the situation. And she said she was very appreciative to show that older students speaking up for a problem that the younger students might do. And
Mhm.
then I come to find out that a lot of the students told me that a lot of the younger kids are known for doing stuff like that, and they were happy that people spoke out about the situation to bring attention to it to, help those problems. I'm
Okay.
sorry if I didn't answer your question. My
No,
apologies.
it's okay. No, you answer. You answer. It's called Raw Stories. So the
Yes,
good thing,
ma'am.
so you don't have to worry about it. You're not going to harm anyone. The good thing is you're not going to use anyone's name. But I want you to be yourself. Okay,
Yes,
you're free to
ma'am.
be yourself. Nothing's bad going to happen to you. Just be yourself. Okay, you free. Okay, shake yourself. It's all good. Your family and all friends are listening to you.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
All right. With that in mind, I know you just finished high school, right? So
Yes,
tell us
ma'am.
about your future. What you want to do.
Yes. So that is not crystal clear, but
Okay.
it's clear enough. I'm on a journey, right?
I
So
love it. Go ahead,
um,
girl. Sound like
I
Carmen.
know I'm going to be studying business administration in Madrid,
Mhm.
which I'm super excited about. And it's
Wow.
an international school, and they speak on, collaboration and diversity and ingenuity. And so I'm really hoping that when I go to the school, it'll help me, open my mind to, creating new ideas. I do hope to be an entrepreneur in the future. Of what? It's still to come.
Oh, I love it. But great thing is you experienced being an entrepreneur already. 'Cause I remember you all had a business selling scarves. Remember that? Which
Yes,
was
ma'am.
amazing. That was really amazing. You all, because I think your mom's, she sold the scars, right? Am I exactly right? Tell us a little
Yes,
about that business, that entrepreneur.
yes.
Do you
When we
remember
were
that?
in middle school, yes,
Okay.
ma'am. When we were in
Okay.
middle school, we raised money for Haiti at a school sale. Yes, ma'am.
Mhm.
Haiti, the orphanage in Haiti,
Mhm.
and my mom, we came up with the idea of selling scarves. So my mom helped us show us how to sew scarves, and we went to the store and bought fabric. And I remember being at the stand. It was hot and beaming, and we had to stand there and advertise and market, and get people to come. That was that was a turning point. That's definitely what sparked my interest in entrepreneurship, for sure.
Wow. And how will you encourage another youth if they were coming, their family said, we're going to move to a whole completely country, and they were a little afraid? How will you encourage that person?
Yes, I would definitely tell them to not have any preconceived notions of what they might expect, to
Mm-hmm.
just go open minded to what different possibilities, because then that's when they're going to learn more about the culture without any prejudgments, and
Mm-hmm.
most likely about themselves, which has happened to my
Oh,
family.
wow. I love you. You did an amazing job. Now let's bring in your family. So you won't be by yourself up here. You're like, let's bring mama, and let's bring your oldest sister. Hey, family.
Hey.
Okay, so we have all of you together, the beautiful Vaughn ladies. Yes. Okay, Carmen, I love how you started off encouraging and letting us know your why for bringing your family to Spain, and how it was more about your family. We can just tell even by the conversations and information that your daughters inform us that that has been fulfilled, and God has continued to use that. What will you say to a family, similar to the question we just said with Neenah, to a family like, they say, you know what, I want to move to another country because I want my children to be more exposed, or I want them to see different things outside of the U.S. How will you encourage that?
I definitely would encourage, especially, and I speak to, it's more popular outside of the culture of blacks, but black people, I want to encourage any family that is interested in doing that, not to limit yourself. It all
Mm,
starts in the mind. And if you
mhm,
limit your thoughts, you limit your actions. If
mm,
you stop dreaming, you stop living. And
mm,
so basically, to one thing I want you to understand is stepping out and moving forward and believing, for me, it was a team effort, God and I.
that's
For
right.
others, because it takes not only courage but determination, and
Mm,
recognize it without any, action, then there's no
mhm,
result. And
mm,
so you got to be willing, and not only willing, you're going to have to keep the noise of those naysayers out of your ear, because
mm,
you can't live your life based on everyone's approval for what you have for your family. And
mhm.
so when I left, I had no noise in my ear. I only
Wow.
had direction, and I only had people around me that was part of the direction and the goal. Now, I
Mhm.
love all my friends and family, but
Right.
when I'm
Mhm,
on a mission, it's about the mission. And you
mhm,
need to surround yourself with positive reinforcement for that, and be solid on it. I think I would suggest, and it doesn't mean you have to have some great pie in the sky. Do your research, look into
mhm,
it to see what's out there, and start making little steps. If it's nothing but to just go on a vacation or just go and visit, and then from there start to put together a plan to execute. I would encourage any and all families of any culture or minority or what have you to do so, if you are are able to. Absolutely, take off the wall.
wow. I love it. And I know you went on your own, because that's amazing in itself. Because, female taking her, daughters all the way to the other side of the world, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And
I know. I
just
look good.
that was amazing. And so with your family, I know you said you got rid of the naysayers and you make sure you was around positive people. How are you able to converse that to your family?
Okay, if you was a naysayer, be it family, friend, or foe, you did not know. That's how it was. I don't play that.
I
It's
love
because
it.
if you ain't on God's plan, you ain't on my plan. And then and so
That's
so
calm. it. I love it.
Boys,
Mm,
that's what I would do. Because unfortunately, dream killers are those who, and a lot of
mm,
times, let me explain. A lot of times you don't even realize you have a naysayer. I mean, I don't
mm.
think people intentionally say, "Hey, I'm gonna destroy your plans." Is when it's
Right.
not. Is when people are not familiar or don't understand, they have a tendency to give a viewpoint that can work against you. And it's not that it's
Mm,
intentional. It just simply means, that they're sharing their fear of the unknown with you, and sometimes
mhm,
that works against you, and so you
mm.
can't always share everything with everyone if you sure if that's what you want to do. Now if you kind of shaky about it, you really need to make sure you're grounded before you make the move.
That is so good. I love that, Carmen. So basically, I'm just going to paraphrase what you said because I think this is very important. This is just wisdom and all in itself. So basically, when God give you a vision or God give you a dream, it's very important that you don't have the dream killers around you, regardless if it's a family member, a friend. I don't care if the person been in your life for from the beginning. The ideal is when you have to stand on something, you have to make sure you put yourself, surround yourself with people that will believe and motivate you as well as help you.
Yeah.
Okay, so now that you all in Spain, your first day in Spain, or you decided to move, I would love for you to tell me that story about the taxi driver. If
Oh,
you
Nacho!
yeah.
Nacho! Love Nacho. Go right ahead. Which story you gonna tell? Right. Yeah, we do. Love Nacho.
Has become a friend of the family.
You're right.
So my favorite story of Nacho and our family is when Nacho, we had gone to the grocery store and we needed to go home real quick, but we had to make a stop at the school, and then we needed to go back to the store because we forgot something. So this is how it went. Okay, so we already know mom doesn't know Spanish. So, and a requirement to work at our school is you need to know how to speak English. This is important fact. Okay. So Nacho came in to our front desk and asked the lady to translate for him what my mom was saying. But my mom translated something and began to talk to the lady like she talked to Nacho. So this is how it went. Right? This is my mom, to the lady who speaks English, to translate for Nacho. Okay. She said, me, go home, go school, from school, go store. The lady said, huh? Okay. So now she adds an accent to the word. She said, okay. Me, go home. From home, go store. From store, go back home. The lady said, ma'am, I speak English. It's registered in my mom's head. She said, okay, me, home, store, or home. The lady said, ma'am, I understand what you're saying. And Ari and we look at each other and we're like,
Nacho was puzzled too.
Mom, like she speaks English. And then my mom looks at Nacho to translate for the lady. She says, Nacho, us home. Okay? Home store. She's speaking English. She said, oh, I am so sorry. We need to go home. We need to go to the store. And then from store, we need to go back home.
Oh my
Nacho could not drive for laughing. He laughed the whole entire time. He said, "You speaking like that to the lady that speak English. Ah! The lady speak English and you talking to her like she don't know English."
I love it. Oh my God. And what we're going to do now to bring closure, because I'm so happy you all were here. I appreciate you, Neenah, Ariel, and Carmen. I would love for you, Carmen, if you don't mind, closing in prayer for all families that desire to move to another country or people that want to move to the U.S. and you may be afraid, especially with Corona, or you made a plan. I want you to know this beautiful family here is a great example and knowing God's way. However, I would love for Carmen, if you don't mind, just say a prayer over families that want to, move to another place, may deal with fear, or just may not even have fear, but need guidance, need the Holy Spirit to guide them. So please close us out in prayer. Thank you.
Most High and lifted up God. You see each and every individual that is tuning in. You see each and every individual that will tune in. And I thank you so much that you will move upon their heart. It says in your word, you are not the author of fear.
Mm,
You said that you command us, fear not, for lo, I am with you always. You said in your word, acknowledge me in all your ways, I will direct your path.
mhm,
And I thank you, most high and lifted up God, that you have made us the head and not the tail. And for those that don't know you and not confident in their relationship with you to trust you, I thank you that you will come alongside with them and give them the peace and the insight and the understanding. You said that anyone that lacks wisdom, let them ask and it be given to them unabradedly. And I
mm,
thank you for giving more insight and wisdom and understanding. Seek understanding that you also say. And I thank you for the courage. And I thank you for putting people around them to help encourage them and help them show them the way and to give them the understanding and the peace needed to fulfill such a task. I pray that your perfect will be done in each and every person and family's life. I think you will make families stronger. I thank you that you will help families and individuals to navigate during this particular time in the
mm,
world in which
mm,
right now we need you more than ever. And those who don't recognize it, they will start to look up and look
mm,
within to see that it is you that have the answer. It is
mm,
you that have the deliverance and the guidance. It is you all knowing, and that you will bring each and every individual and family through because you say in all things, give thanks. In all things,
mm,
pray without ceasing. And I
mm.
thank you because prayer is communication. I
Yeah.
thank that they recognize that holiness is not a slang term or some
Mm,
kind of weird word. It just simply means separated.
mm,
Come from out amongst all those distractions,
mm,
get with you so they can get a clear vision of a clear purpose and
mm,
a clear mind to see
mm.
your purpose and direction for them in their lives. I thank you. I love you. And I acknowledge you, and you are so great. You are the Alpha and the Omega. You are the
Yes.
beginning and the end. And
Yeah.
we are so grateful. You are God. In the
Mm.
name of Yeshua Christ, we pray. Thank you. Amen.
Amen. Wow. This is an awesome interview, you all. I love it. Oh my God. I just appreciate all of you. So thankful people still responding from you are. Yes, you all. You all are just a blessing. I think you're just faith build people faith, and that's what it's all about. Wow. It was. I totally agree, Ayana. Amazing. Ayana, she lives in Trinidad. So basically, yeah. So basically, I want you to know at least we have 78 countries that's watching right now, and so we're so thankful
Wow.
that your story has been told, and they can hear and know that people do live in faith, and y'all just a beautiful example. And I want to start crying because that's what I feel right now, because I feel the presence of the Lord. But I'm so, so thankful for each one of you all. I love you all. I can't wait to hug you all and see you all. This corona got to go so I can see my family. But yes, someone saying yes. You better call him. Yes. Yes. I think they're hearing your prayers now because there's a little delay. Yes, we global, and so it's just an example. Like, I thank you guys so much. So it's just a blessing, a blessing, a blessing, and we appreciate you. Anything you all like to say, Ariel and Neenah, before we bring closure to this conversation?
I want to say one thing. As a young person who came over, and if there are any other young people in this or watching this, keep your mind open, because an open mind can help you see clearer. I was closed, but I began to open. If you enter open, it will flow easier. And also just trust God, because open mind, trust God. So,
I love it. I love it.
well said.
We'll say. Okay. All right, you all. You all have a good night. Thank you all for watching Raw Stories. And we see you next Tuesday with Raw Stories, people that want to tell you their experience, want you to hear their raw story, because at the end of the day, we want you to thrive. God bless you all. Y'all have a good night.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah. Love it. We're trying to end it.